we are a generation that doesn't remember a time where anyone was seriously talking about this being able to change at all. There's only a status quo. Nobody's even offering any solution that's not the status quo. We don't remember narratives that talk about peace as a solution as opposed to having a stronger military, right? Like that's the only narrative we have as a generation. And I think that means a lot on kind of what, I mean, we keep saying that Israeli politics is going more and more to the right, and it's true within a global context, and global politics is going more and more to the right. Like there's a lot of other aspects to it, but I think that this is also one of the things. It's a generation that doesn't have an alternative.
What does it mean to be a young Israeli?
What does it mean to be a young Israeli? I mean, I don't know exactly what it means to be a young Israeli. For myself, today, a lot of it is about being a person with a certain amount of privilege, or a certain kind of privilege. Like the question of whether I'm Israeli or Israeli Jewish specifically, and what that identity means today is in many ways in opposition to being Palestinian, right? It's the rights that I receive as being an Israeli Jew in the system of privilege as opposed to others. So a lot of the way I experience my Israeli identity is around that. But it also, I mean, it means being part of a society that there's a lot of very nice things about it, very positive things about it, but it's also a highly militarized society. It's a society that is very much built on fear. And that's something that's ingrained in being Israeli. The entrance to my elementary school had a plaque with the names of everyone from the school who died during service. Right? That's the first thing that you see every morning when you come into school, and we don't think about it, but it's there all the time. I was reading a math book for second graders, and it had this question of like a pack of chocolate has 40 pieces of chocolate in it, and 4 rows, how many lines are there? And then the next question is like a unit of soldiers has 27 soldiers in it and 9 lines, how many rows are there? Like it's everywhere. It's just like the way that we experience life is a lot around the military. Part of what defines who you are as an Israeli is military service. And so it's really something that's kind of everywhere in the way that we're educated, the fact that there's weapons all over the streets all the time, soldiers, police officers, private security guards, like the normalization of weapons is also a huge part of it. And then the story that we tell ourselves around that, right? The kind of narrative of why this is necessary, which is a narrative that's fundamental to this state. Like the reason that the state of Israel was created in many ways was as a militarized solution to anti-Semitism. One of the songs that we sing in the Passover dinner translates into, in every generation someone tries to kill us and then God saves us from them, right? Like that's, you tell that story as part of the holiday from generation to generation to remember that. And so who the threat is from there is anything from Pharaoh to, you know, generations after that. But then a week after Passover ends is the Holocaust Memorial Day. We know what the threat is there very clearly. A week after that is the Soldiers and Victims of Terror Memorial Day. So again, this is ongoing, right? So it was Pharaoh, it was Hitler. If we're thinking about like victims of terror, then also Palestinians today. If we're thinking about Soldiers Memorial, then it used to be the Egyptians or Jordanians or whoever in different times. And the following morning after Soldiers Memorial Day is Independence Day, right? Like what that narrative creates is a state. And it's just one example of how that's built, but who the threat is almost irrelevant. Like there was a plaque in first grade, and the plaque literally just said in the middle, "Who tried to kill us?" And then it had like, you know, different lines to people who tried to kill us. So it included like Pharaoh and Haman, who's a bad guy from another holiday, and then it includes the Greeks and the Romans, so again, ancient history, and then it includes like Hitler, but it also includes Ahmadinejad, and it includes the Arabs, and it's like this complete mixture of religious, historical, present day, individuals, groups, whatever. It doesn't matter, because the story's not about who they are. It's about us. A far more racist generation than people used to be, but it's also the first generation that was far more segregated than the previous ones, right? Checkpoint system, the wall, those are things that we grew into, that previous generations didn't. And so not that the others weren't racist, but that like our form of racism is far more blind. We literally don't know anything else. And it's far easier to be there. I think that that's a lot of the political situation that we're in, and when it feeds into a global political situation where we have this wave of populist, right-wing politicians that their main message is, I am strong, right? That's what they're offering, and nobody's offering an alternative to that. That is something that you can as easily kind of join into and feel part of something bigger than you and feel part of this successful label. Then there's no opposition to it, and that's what we're seeing here as well.
If you could speak directly to the Israeli youth specifically, what would you say?
There's nothing that I feel that many times there's nothing that I can say, again, because right now I don't have much to offer them. So I can talk, and I do it sometimes, talk with youth and try to kind of deconstruct how much we live in fear and how much of this is constructed and how much of the facts are not as we're actually told. And sure, we do that, we have those conversations, but to tell you that that's effective, if I don't offer them anything else, why does it matter that things are not true? There's always these kind of researches that time and time again say that, facts don't change people's minds. The fact that like most youth in this city, Israeli Jewish youth in this city, have no idea that the Palestinian youth in this city are not residents, or not citizens, are only residents, don't actually have the same civic rights as they do. They don't even know that. You tell them that, it doesn't change anything. So like there's nothing that again, because right now I don't feel like know what to actually offer positively. I don't know what to say.
So if facts doesn't change anything, what does?
I think that a lot of it is about offering an alternative.